welcome back to CGTV, and more specifically, welcome back to Bruntingthorpe Proving Ground, where today we have a ridiculous lineup of cars. I must admit, this video was supposed to be slightly different to this one, but I owe you a proper look around the cars here, because I tried a live stream, which may or may not still be on my channel. I might have deleted it by now, but loads of you are moaning about the quality, so let's go and check out the cars properly with a proper camera, and then we'll get into some 911T talk. Now, you don't really need me talking through all the cars, but let's just say there's some insane metal here. 177, Vulcan, FSX, F50, Koenigsegg, Veyron, Koenigsegg, Zonda, F50. Mental. Let's go through. I believe we've got the British line here. Some classics, and I'm an ignorant pig, so I have no idea what any of them are. We have, I don't know, I guess Italian's like, oh no, there's a 918 there. I don't really know, to be fair. Loads of bits, loads of bits. Yep, basically all the cars are now lining up. There's actual chaos. All the cars are lining up now for a massive photo, and this photo, by the time this video goes out, will probably be on social media. It's the one with the big plane in the background. I don't think my car's going to be in it. Is it going to be in there? Because we're going to go film a video instead, aren't we? Let's go and do some Carrera T talk, and I'll talk you through exactly why I bought this car, because it's a bit of a rare one, bit of a specific one, bit of an odd choice, possibly. So I will go through exactly why I bought one, and the spec, and just go on a little spin. Woo!
What's all he doing? Is he filming me, or is that part of the video?
It will be, mate. Yeah,
Dean, should we get Dean's opinion on life? On life? Shut up! Yeah! There you go, there you go.
Yep. So, this is just probably the noisiest place we could have possibly chosen to film a video. Anyway, needs must, I'm a busy guy. So, Carrera T. What is it? Why is it? And what have I gone for, spec-wise? Because I've gone for quite a punchy spec, and I think a lot of you didn't predict what I did with this car. I think a lot of you thought you knew what I was going to get, and I threw a bit of a curveball with this car. So let's start with the basics. What is the Carrera T? Carrera T is essentially a base 911 Carrera. So it's got the 370 brake horsepower, 3-litre twin-turbo flat 6 engine. From the base, Carrera, no tuning, nothing done to it. But what Porsche have done is that they've tried to kind of create a purist driving experience type vibe. So they brought back a lot of retro touches and a lot of the stuff that they put in their GT cars, and they've chucked it all together in quite a nice rare package. We'll touch on the rare thing as well later on. Let's have a look around the car. So the colour I've gone for is racing yellow. You can probably see that it's yellow, but it's called racing yellow. It's not signal yellow. I like signal yellow, but you couldn't get that. PTS was not an option. Couldn't get PTS. So noisy. So yeah, couldn't get PTS, and the colour options were very, very limited. It was pretty much just red, black, white, pretty much it actually, yellow, that's it. We have agate grey detailing all over the car, so we have these decals which come as standard. I quite like them. I like stripes on cars when they kind of almost belong like they do here. Agate mirrors, and the wheels as well, which are sport classic wheels. These are 20 inches, I believe. And these, I actually, contrary to what a lot of you have said, because I've been trolled about these wheels a lot, contrary to what a lot of you have been saying, I actually paid more for these wheels. These are an optional upgrade. So you can either have these or the Carrera S wheels with the slightly thinner spokes. The weight difference between the two of them is slightly marginal. This is ever so slightly more heavy, I think, these wheels, but I prefer them. They come on the millionth edition 911. They look like the kind of Fuchs wheels on the, I'm looking at Ollie here, that's one. Fuchs? Because if I say any differently, I'm going to just swear.
Okay, fine.
And then it gets demonetised and ting. I also, as well, I'm going to point this out because I spent quite a lot of the budget on this. I went for ceramics as well. So this car did not come with the options to have the red steel brakes that you get in the GT3. You could only get the more basic steel brakes with the little black calipers, or ceramics. I went for ceramics. I think the Porsche ceramics are absolutely unbelievable. I love these brakes. It's probably more suited to a track car. They were $6.5 grand. Probably didn't need them, but hey, here we are. I genuinely have no justification other than the fact because yellow. Right, going around the car then. Also another point on the wheels as well. The car didn't come with coloured centre caps. The car came with monochrome centre caps. I asked Porsche leads to change these, and they had a bit of a faff. They had to paint around it to match the centre cap to the rest of the wheel. They had a bit of a faff there, so shout out to the chaps there for sorting that. me being anal. And also what I got put on the car was GT spacers for the wheels. So there's 5mm spacers the whole way around the car. OEM Porsche that I've optioned from factory. They're only a few £100, and that just kind of gives the car a slightly wider track and fills out the arches slightly nicer. Most of you won't know I've done that. You can't really tell, but I think almost subconsciously it just looks a lot more kind of filled out and nice. Coming around the back of the car, more agate grey detailing here. Actually, should we open this little back flap? Let's do a proper one here. Back flap is probably not the name of it, but hey, it's TGTV. It's a back flap now. So in here, nothing to see really, nothing to see at all, other than the fact that this is where the magic happens. And we'll get onto the engine in a bit. Shut up. And you. There's probably going to be about 1 million other videos of this event, by the way, for all the other YouTubers. So if you do fancy seeing more of that, feel free to click off this video. There'll be loads probably online by now. At the back here, I'm still 50-50 about the badging. I don't know whether or not I just wanted 911. I left all of that on there. I might change it just to 911. I don't know. I think it was a bit too busy there. Options around the back, I've gone for tinted taillights. They're a Porsche exclusive option, so I've tinted these because I felt it matched better the dark detailing here and the dark detailing of the exhaust. The exhaust tips are black. You probably can't tell that. It's covered in crap. Today was a really messy drive, shall we say. And yeah, and my private plate as well that used to feature on my M4 DTM. God rest its soul, at the bottom of the ocean. Another cool thing about this car as well, so what I should have said earlier as well, this car has a new diff, sports diff, limited slip diff, don't know what it is, some sort of diff anyway, that differentiates it, no pun intended, from the standard Carrera. It also has the lightweight glass from the GT2 and GT3 RS, which is quite cool actually. It sounds like plastic, but it's not. There's a lot, we'll get onto the interior actually, we will get onto that. But also with this car as well, the suspension is dropped, so it's got the PASM, P-A-S-M, I believe, drop suspension from the GTS, so the car's lower than standard Carreras anyway. I think that's pretty much it on the external. Have I missed anything, Ollie? Oh yeah, other things I didn't spec. So I didn't go for a sunroof. The idea of this car is weight saving and purist vibes. Putting a sunroof in there, putting a piece of glass right there, apparently introduces flex to the car. It does, to some, spoil the chassis. I don't know whether that's true or false, but there we go. I didn't go for a sunroof though, because it's not a car that you put bells and whistles on, like that. He says, although now we get inside, I'm going to contradict myself. Ahoy, in the car. So this is my favourite bit about the car. We have the manual gearbox. Manual, ladies and gentlemen. You know the thing with the 3 pedals and the moving this about? So this is not a new gearbox. This is the gearbox from the other 991.2s. However, it is got the overdrive, I believe, from the Carrera S. And this is a new gear stick. So this is a new stubbier short shifter. The box, I must say, people kind of, it's much maligned because it's got the 7-speed box in it, but I just treat it like a 6-speed. So for those of you who don't know, there is a 7th gear, which is kind of a motorway override gear, and you can only overdrive gear. You can only get into it from 6th. So it's just for cruising really. So it's a 6-speed until you're sat on the motorway, and you can only access this 7th gear by kind of going across from 6th. You can't get to it any other way. A lot of people do whinge about that. To be honest with you, I don't really see the issue with it. I find it actually quite nice to have. We've pootled down here today, cruising on the motorway in the rain. It was actually quite nice. So the gearbox itself though is an absolute pleasure to use. It's very precise. I really like this gearbox. It's the best gearbox I've driven, I think, bar the GT4, which of course I drove loads. That had a very nice box, and it's probably slightly nicer because it's a 6-speed and there's no silly 7th. But I do really like the box in this. Porsche have nailed this. The sat-nav, brilliant. That's not an optional extra though. Obviously the manual's free, you don't have to pay for that. More importantly in here, the seats. So I was very keen to get these seats. I didn't want back seats. You can get those for free in the T. If you get the folding ones, excuse me, nearly threw up for some reason. So I went for the 918 or lightweight buckets. These are fixed, you can't fold them, you can't do anything with them, you can just move them forward and back, and they go up and down slightly. I love these seats, I had them in my GT3 RS, and I think these make the car. Furthermore in here, we have the sports chrono pack, so we have yellow, well we have a dial up here, which I've optioned yellow, and then we've got the other dials in here, which I've also optioned yellow. We have the GT steering wheel, so this is the wheel from a GT, 3 and whatever, it's the same wheel, but I've actually optioned buttons into it because it's not a track car. I didn't want full simplicity, and we've also got this little adjuster here, or kind of mode setting thing that you actually was first seen, I believe, in the 918. So that is a really nice little function, and that goes from comfort, sport, sport plus, and individual mode. That just changes the driving modes. What else have we got in here? I'm trying to do a whistle stop tour because I appreciate some of you probably getting bored. We've got cup holders. I don't know why I want to talk about them, but they just work really well. It's just so Porsche. Well done, you. Furthermore, what have we got in here? Optional extras and cool stuff. On here, door pulls. These are from the GT cars, apparently to save weight. Obviously, that's going to save probably about 10 grams, but it's cool anyway. It's quite a nice feature, and you don't get that in the other Carreras. I've also optioned Bose speakers. Although I like terrible music, I do like it loud, so Bose is a vibe, and I appreciate it adds probably a tiny bit of weight, but I don't really care. I like my music. And the speakers in my Aventador are, for want of a better word, toilet. So it's quite nice to have proper speakers that work. Although the standard ones in Porsches are good because Porsche don't get stuff wrong. Also in here, I've optioned yellow stitching everywhere. I think it's quite punchy, and we've got yellow 911 here, just in case you forget what seat you're in, what car you're in. I think that's pretty much it in here. Alcantara inserts in the seat. So what I was going to do, I was going to try and get houndstooth inserts for these, but it proved too much hassle to sort out pre-collection. I may still do that with the car. Do let me know in the comments whether or not you think I should do that, but it's quite a lot of hassle. I can't really be bothered with it. So driving around, there's quite a lot of noise actually, because of the lack of sound deadening from the glass, because it's really, really thin glass, and there's actually less sound insulation as well around the engine, and no back seat. It's quite a visceral experience in here. It is actually much more aligned to the GT3 RS experience than I thought there would be. You can hear a lot of clunking, whirring, the kind of the stuff you associate with Porsche and the flat six, way more than I thought you would. It's actually a very, very enjoyable experience. All right, should we get turned on then? Do you want to go around the back?
Let's
get started up, and I'll give you some driving impressions, and you can all hear what it sounds like, because I will be mooting the exhaust point at some point as well. So let's get fired up. I've hopped out the car briefly because just before we go on a drive, I forgot to talk to you about the front of the car. Idiot. So I've actually gone for the PDSL LED headlights that gives you the 4 running lights here, spotlights. There's about £1,500 option, but I think some of you must have seen these on the road by now with the 4 dots on it. I think it looks so cool, and it reminds me of the Mission E and the 918 and all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool. And the other unique thing about the T is there's a deeper front splitter on it, and you also get this thing down here, this bottom bit, which is covered in crap at the moment. However, you can option that as painted. I've gone for this painted because I think it gives the front end a bit of a more aggressive look, and it's totally, totally unique to the T, and also very, very minor point, but I thought, why not cover this in as much detail as, oh my God, I nearly fell on the car, I'm not well. I painted those as well. Not by hand, obviously Porsche did that, but I just think it gives the front end a much cleaner look. And the other thing I didn't option as well, I didn't option the adaptive cruise control, whatever it is, because it adds a big to the front there. I wanted to keep the front end as clean as possible. Obviously not dirt-wise, but I also didn't spec parking sensors because I thought it ruined the lines of the front of the car, and obviously a front plate completely ruins it, so that is not there at all. I mean, it fell off, whatever. So, driving impressions then. One thing I also should have mentioned, I'm going to do a little circle, mate, so watch out for your toes. One thing I should have mentioned is that this has 4-wheel steer. That was an option that you couldn't spec, I believe, on the standard Carreras, but I have spec. I'm trying not to run you over here. How's this working for everyone at home? Is this a thing? Have we started a trend here?
Yep.
I've spec 4-wheel steer on this car. So the GT cars have 4-wheel steer, and now this one obviously does too. I find it adds to the agility of the car. It's not intrusive, but you can kind of feel it working, but not in a horrible way. I really, really like it. And if you're thinking of specing it on one of your cars, get in the pot. 4-wheel steer is a big yes from me, and it's why I'm being able to drive around Ollie like this in such an odd manner. This is horrible actually. I'm on and off the clutch. Yeah, do you want to get in the car, mate? We can go for a little spin and talk about it properly. Yeah, all right, let's do that. Get in. Okay, we're in the car. So the main hesitations with, I think, some of the breed of the new Carreras is the turboed engine. It's been discussed to death by every other motoring journalist in the world, and me not even being a motoring journalist but just being an idiot that has bought one, I thought it'd be useful perhaps to discuss my experiences. I'm actually basically in an aerodrome right now with an empty road in front of me.
I'm worried.
Yeah, you should be, mate, because I'm lacking in ability. So yeah, driving impressions then. What do I think of the turboed engine? It actually is pleasantly surprising. I had huge concerns it was going to feel very artificial, very boosty, very tinny, and just kind of ruin what the 911's about. But I can safely say after only 400 miles, the power delivery is extremely linear. It feels and sounds, on the most part, exactly like the flat sixes of old. We're being told off. We're just training a video, leave us alone. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. So if you do get a chance to test drive one and you've got any reservations at all, do get in the pot with one. It doesn't feel turboed. You can hear the turbo whistling in the background. Obviously it doesn't rev as high as the naturally aspirated engines, but I don't think the move to turbo is anything to to cry about. I actually think it's been quite a positive move, and the low end torque in this is way beyond that I felt in the GT4, and indeed almost in the GT3 RS. There was power wherever you want it in the rev range. Should we do some silliness, mate?
Yep.
Actually, I've not even run it in, I can't. Nope, no silliness today. So, we're concluding now, so I'm just going to go around in a little circle. Ollie likes circles, don't you, mate?
Yep, I like them. They please me.
The cost of the car, the base cost of this car, well, I'm not going around any more circles. The base cost of this car was 85 grand. Which is, I think, about 5-7 grand premium on the standard Carrera. However, with options, my car came to 106,000. 6,500 of that, as I've touched on earlier, was the brakes. 1,500 quid on nose lift, 1,500 on the headlights, another 1,500 quid on stitching in here, 3.5 grand on the seats, another grand on the Bose speakers, 800 quid on the wheels. I think 300 odd quid on the painted front splitter, 300 quid on the tinted tail lights. One thing though I did save money on though, and I really enjoy this actually, so I'm going to stop. I have to take the key out though. You can already guess what it is. One thing I did save money on though, on the options list, the only thing I did was the key. So Porsche will charge you 60, and they're not going to thank me for saying this, so if you work for Porsche, sorry about this. Porsche will charge you 60 odd quid to get your key painted the same colour as your car. But that's paint, that chips. My GT3 RS was painted lava orange, or lava red, whatever they call it, and the paint was chipping off. You can go on eBay though and get covers for your key for £5, and yeah, it's perfect. It fits on perfectly, and it's coloured plastic as well. It doesn't chip, it doesn't scratch. So there we go. I've saved you 55 quid there. Overall though, am I happy with the car? I'm of course only joking. I am absolutely over the moon with the car. I was expecting to be a little bit underwhelmed by it, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. It is so much faster than I thought it would be. It really, really, really thumps along. The gearbox, as I touched on, amazing. The engine's absolutely fantastic, and everything in here is just so Porsche. It works so well. The sat nav is a delight. I absolutely love this car, and the only thing that I would possibly ever consider replacing this car for now, long term, GT3 Touring. That's the only car that could come along and knock this off its perch for me. If that happens, great, and I really do want one, but they're like hen's teeth. So if one comes along, I will try and get one, but if not, I'm going to keep this T and be happy with it, because a Touring, I mean, they're knocking around for like what, list price, they're like 130 odd, aren't they? But then the premium's about 40-50k on them. I've even heard of more premium than that. So cost to change, I don't even know if I would if a Touring came along. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day, but hopefully that gives you an insight as to why I bought the T, what the T's about, and that's about it really. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'm looking at Ollie now because he's bored to death.
I'm a bit sick after all these donuts.
These circles, yes. Should we go back over here anyway? Because let's go back, and anyway, because loads of people are taking photos with a car and a plane and well, loads of cars.
Oh, there's the plane.
You've not spotted the plane? It's been there all afternoon.
No.
The jumbo jet. Is that a double-decker one as well?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be taking this thing to Monaco and doing loads of actual proper driving content with it. This was just an overview of the car because I was getting so many questions about the T, and I thought it'd be useful to answer them all in one long, dreary video. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Blah, blah, blah. Bye.